Hi girls, this is Majestic Curls. First name is Miosha, in case you all did not know. Um, so basically I'm just here to tell everybody where I've been. So if you want to hear more, just keep watching. So pretty much what happened is in September of 2017 I started a new job, and which I'm still at. I started a new job, and that kind of took the focus off of me being able to post more videos and to be consistent with it, trying to play catch up with life and bills and all that stuff. So it kind of just took my focus for a bit. Um, I went through work and everything, and then come December, um, the 13th. No, I'm gonna take that back. December. It was sometime. It was in December. I know for a fact. December. One Sunday, me and my family, we were all sitting together. We was listening to music. We were laughing. We were joking. We were having a good time. Um, um, I don't walk away from. She snatched him up. I said, damn. I said, oh no. Do the hard stuff, man. Yeah. He always tells me. But you were the only one, so was I. And now, that was actually, I'm gonna take that back. That was like a Saturday. Sunday morning, I was asleep in my room. Now I stayed with my parents, because me and he at the time he was my boyfriend. Now we're engaged. Ah! Where is my ring? It's in my beauty room somewhere. I think I should go get my ring. Let me go get my ring. Okay, I am engaged to be married. He proposed to me on my birthday. Yeah, Kendall proposed to me on my birthday, on my 30th birthday. So I'm 30 now. I've walked into chapter 30, and I still feel like a 25-year-old. I don't know, but so at the time we were in between getting places. We were supposed to move to this apartment, and it didn't work out. It was a bunch of nonsense that did not make sense. And then after the apartment situation, we found this lady. She was going to rent to own us a house. The house needed a lot of work, so she wasn't like pressed for any like down payments or any of that. It was a really good deal. The house was beautiful. It just was in bad shape. In my mind, we could have done it, but God seen something, had something planned different for us. So she backed out of the deal in the middle of paperwork based on wanting to help her family, which is fine. But it was heart crushing for me. So we were all stuck at my parents' house. We were staying with my mom and my dad in my old bedroom. So it's me, my fiance, and my two boys. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. So we're all back here in this one room. And like I said, we were sleeping. I was sleeping anyway. And I could hear my dad through the wall yelling, baby, baby. And in my mind, it was like, okay, which my mother has had a asthma attack before, and I had to come and help set up her machine so that she could get on her inhaled solution and breathe. So I'm running in there to get to her, and when I got into the room, they were in their bathroom, and when I got to her, when I seen them in the bathroom, she was sitting on the toilet and she was slumped over. And my daddy is like shaking her and kind of like patting her face, trying to, I guess he just figured she fainted. So he's trying to like pat her face and get her to respond, and she's not responding. And so my instinct was to try to get her machine, her nebulizer hooked up, but it was so far. She was out of it. I didn't think that it would help, so we automatically called 911. So I called 911, and we're trying to get somebody to come out, and they're telling me to have her lay down and have her lay down on her flat on her back. And my dad's freaking out, and I'm trying to get him to calm down so that I can listen to the operator. And he finally calms down for a second, and I'm like, I can't listen to you and listen to the operator at the same time. You got to calm down because it's freaking me out. So he calmed down, and we laid her down on the floor on her back, and it was almost like she was already gone. But her body was doing like these little jerks, like she was having a seizure, and her tongue had swelled up, and they were telling me to do chest compressions. So I've never in all my life have ever been in this situation before. I've taken CPR classes before, and that was like years and years ago. But just to actually have to try to perform CPR or try to do anything, it was just, I was in shock. So they're telling me to do chest compressions, and as I'm trying to do it, I'm trying to stay calm at the same time. But when I look at my mom's face, it was like she wasn't there. So they're still asking me to do chest compressions, and I'm doing the chest compressions, and they're like, just keep doing them until the paramedics get there. So I'm counting, and I'm doing the pumps, and I'm counting, I'm doing the pumps, and I'm crying all at the same time because it's like, I've never seen my mom like this before. What's going on? So the paramedics come, and they pick her up and take her out of the bathroom into the middle of their bedroom floor, which their bedroom is really big. So they get her to the floor, and they're working on her, hooking her up to all these machines and putting IVs in her, and they had to get out the heart defibrillator. They said that her heart was still, her pulse, there was still a pulse. It was just very faint to where you couldn't feel it. And the only thing that I can think of at the time, because I was just so upset, and I'm like, why is it taking them so long to even get her to come back? Because in my mind, it's like, okay, paramedics are here. They're going to get her to at least be able to be like, and start looking around, breathing or something. My mom was not doing that. So, I instantly just go into the family room, and I get on my knees, and I pray, and I pray, and I pray, and I pray, and I pray. I just pray. And when they said that we have a pulse, it was like a sigh of relief, and I was just praising God, like just thanking him for her to be breathing. So once they got the pulse, I had to kiss my babies and calm them down, because they were seeing, which I did not, I was so out of it, I didn't realize they were standing right there in the doorway. So we get in the car. I call my best friend. My best friend is literally like my sister. And I call her, and I'm freaking out. And she pulls up, and by the time she pulls up, they're putting my mom in the ambulance, in the back of the ambulance. So I just kind of told her where we were going, and she followed us there. So we are all rushing to Truman Hospital. juvenile hospital, and they get her in immediately. They get her in, and they had like this little family waiting room for us. So we're all sitting in this family waiting room, and there's a priest and a lady taking information and just asking us questions. And once the doctors come in, they tell us that she suffered from a severe asthma attack, um, which caused her to go in cardiac arrest. So my mother was basically in a coma. So the only thing I could do was pray and call our family so they'll know what's going on. And everybody came up to the hospital. And you never know how much or how many people love you until something crazy happens, which is really weird. But I immediately felt a lot of love from our family because everybody was there. Just about everybody was there. My mom was only in the hospital for like 3 or 4 days. The doctors immediately, they were basically like they were kind of on and off. At one minute it was, we're gonna keep her comfortable. We're gonna do everything we can do to make sure that she's okay. We're gonna bring her. We're gonna try to get her out of this. We're gonna do the best we can. And then hours later, she suffered brain damage on both sides of her brain, and she's basically a vegetable. To have to, I'm going back and forth from work, to this hospital every day that she was in there, and to come leave work for them to read the MRI results and to basically tell us there's nothing that they can do, and there's nothing that they can do, and that the best thing to probably do is to let her go. I've never lost a parent before, and that was the worst thing that I could ever be told, is to let my mom go. Because from being a kid up into adults now, I've always been able to be there for my mom, make sure she doesn't feel alone, and to try to be as close as possible. Now, we've all had our ups and downs with our parents, but my mom was my everything. Mom was my everything, and she still is, even though she's not present. She's my everything. And every day after that, it became harder and harder. But we had to pull the plug on my mom and watch her take her last breath. And after that, I know I wasn't supposed to, because I am a firm believer of Jesus, but I questioned him a lot. And I'm being completely honest, like, I questioned him because I didn't understand why my mother couldn't have a second chance at life. There's a lot of people that have gone through something traumatic as far as like their health, but I feel like they've had second chances. I mean, and everybody doesn't get a second chance, which I get. But in my mind, it was, why can't my mother have a second chance? She has two beautiful grandchildren, three beautiful grandchildren that she loves to death, loves to life. And we always talked about her being there when I got married and when kids graduate and go away to college. And I just wanted that lifelong relationship with my mom. Now, her being older and going through certain things, I understand, because when you get older, you go through health issues and health risks. But for my mom, is that tissue? No, it's tears. My mom was 55 years old. I personally feel like she still had a lot ahead of her. We had a lot left to do together. And I may sound a little bit selfish, but that's how I feel. After losing my mom, December the 13th was the day we pulled the plug. I'm trying to make sure I remember these dates correctly, but the 13th is dancing in my head right now. I believe it's December the 13th is the day that we pulled the plug. And that was the worst day of my life. Like, I've never cried so hard in my life. I felt like a child. I sobbed, I whined, I cried for my mom. I was like on the verge of falling out, like I'm passing out. And then I just happened to look over and my boys were watching. And I had to, in my mind, I felt like I was scaring them, or they were super worried. And I don't want them to ever have to worry about me, because that's my job, is to worry about them. So I tried to straighten it up and kind of clean it up a little bit. After the passing of my mom, I immediately had to go back to work. So we went through funeral arrangements and all that, and I had to go back to work because pretty much I was brand new. So dealing with work, trying to cope with the fact that I can't even pick up the phone and call my mom, or see her bringing her dog outside to use the bathroom every morning while I put my kid on the bus, was crushing for me. So I went through, this is September, pretty much the end of September. I went through a depression and didn't even realize it until my friend, like my coworker, my friend that I work with, she started kind of just like, hey, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, and I know that you're going through this and you're going through that, but I feel like you should see somebody. I'm like, depression? Yeah, right. That's not I'm not going through no depression. I'm fine. It's just a hard time. Just going through a hard time, that's all. And then I started talking to my sister about it. And she said the exact same thing. I couldn't get out of the bed. I cried myself to sleep every night. So after that situation, it was like, okay, you need to talk to somebody and you need to get you a doctor. I gave me a primary care doctor, and she is amazing. I love her. I'm telling him everything that I dealt with and what's going on, and she immediately was like, it sounds like you're going through depression right now. And stress and depression can cause you to throw up when nothing's wrong. Why couldn't the doctor in the emergency room tell me that? I don't know. But either way it goes, they said I was depressed. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to just take this because I've never been depressed before and I don't know what exactly it feels like. All I know is I'm just super sad and don't want to do anything. So they're like, that's depression. I'm like, okay. It was almost embarrassing for me to tell other people, like, hey, I'm going through this. The doctor said I'm depressed and they have me on this medication. Now, the medication they put me on wasn't bad at all. I didn't want to take it. I'm so against taking medication for that type of stuff because I don't want to be hooked on it or depending on it. But trying to think outside the box and do what the doctor is telling me to do, I take the medication. I didn't tell my fiance because I already knew how he felt about medication. So I just kind of started taking it. And I'm at work and I'm just still like, I'm not feeling this. It's just literally still hard to get out of bed. So I went ahead and took a medical leave of absence. So my medical leave started July 27th and I was supposed to come back August 27th. The doctor did not clear me to go back because they said a month wasn't long enough for me to be out and actually for the medication to work like it's supposed to. So they extended my leave until October 1st. So I will be going back to work October 1st. I feel a lot better. The only thing I don't like about the medication is in the mornings I feel a little nauseous. Other than that, I will say is it wakes me up, and once I'm up, I'm up. It's hard to go back to sleep. So I have to take it at night. The medicine will put me to sleep, but once I wake up, it's hard to go back to sleep. So I take it at night. It makes me sleep. And then I wake up and I feel refreshed actually. I feel like I can deal with whatever goes on. It's not like the commercials, like they try to make it seem like, oh, we're running through the field of flowers and life is great. It's nothing like that. But what I do like about it is I don't feel like a zombie. And that's what I was concerned about. I don't want to be walking through here like, yeah, whatever. Okay. No, I didn't want to be like that. So I'm still my upbeat, happy, goofy, laughing all the time, joking all the time. I have my moments. I will say that. They're not as, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say dramatic because losing your mom is a serious situation. It's serious. I don't care what nobody says. Let's just say I deal with it a lot better. I'll cry without sobbing. I'll deal with it and then I'll move on. So, if anybody is dealing with depression, don't ignore it. Do something about it. Because I was able to catch myself in the early stages. Depression can lead up to suicide. And I don't wish that on anybody. And I'm just happy and glad that I was open enough to go and get some help. Not just for myself, but for my fiance, for my children, for my family. I didn't want to check out that way. And I feel like nobody can raise my boys or my kids better than I can. And I would never want to leave them out here like that. Like, I know that their dad will take great care of them, but without a mother's love, what do you do? So, if you know somebody that's dealing with depression, speak up. Help them. If they won't do it on their own, help them. they may be a little upset, because I've dealt with situations with people where they don't want to do it, but you go behind their back and you do it for them, and they get upset, but it's for their own good. So definitely say something, refer them somewhere, talk to them, give them some help. Because without my friends and my sister saying anything like, hey, this is what I think you're dealing with, ain't no telling how deep into the depression I would have been by now. My mother has been gone for 9 months, 10 months now. Yeah, 9 months. It'll be 10 months in October. She died in December of last year. Her birthday was August 7th. We did a balloon release, and it was beautiful. It was really nice. I did get a little sad, of course. It's my mom. But I was able to get through it.
Let it go, Asher. Let it go. Let it go. Look. Look. Let it go. Here, let it go.
No, you have to let it go. Why would you have to throw your arm? Who did it?
Get up.
I just wanted to tell everybody what's been going on, where I've been, and that I am making a comeback. And I have my room together. I have a beauty room set up for recordings and hair tutorials, and my hair is a little dirty right now. This is an old twist out that I threw up in a puff because I didn't feel like dealing with it today, but I'm gonna get back to my videos, and I want to start vlogging, so that's gonna be something new for us. The boys want to be YouTubers, so I'm going to start putting them in the videos as well, and having them stuff to do and uploading it to the channel. So be looking out for us, because we are coming. Not to mention, I'm wedding planning as well, so my life is a little hectic right now, but it's in a good way right now. It's not bad. I will post some pictures at the end of this video of my mom, what she looked like. She was beautiful. She was fun. We did share a lot of stuff together. We did do a lot of stuff together, and her memory will live on for forever. So I want to thank you all for sitting through this with me, and I'm sorry if I made anybody cry. I was trying to be a big girl about the situation, but it's my mom. For everyone that's been with me since day one, I want to thank you for sticking in there and for your support and your love. For all my newbies, subscribe, hit that like button, comment, and just thank you. And I'm out. Bye.
Though I'm missing you, I'll find a way to get through. Living without you, 'cause you were my sister, my strength, and my pride. Only God may know why. Still I will get by.
Told me that some kids is born like this is the actual disease. That's messed up.
How could it be that a sweet memories would be all that we have left? And now that you're gone, every day I go on, but life's just not the same. empty inside, and my tears